So what were your first impressions with digital marketing? Because that basically is what you were doing.
I didn't know that I was doing digital marketing. When
Right.
I was a 16-year-old kid, I was, to me, it was a game. It was never a job, even though I was getting paid. It didn't feel like I was doing it for a paycheck. I was doing it because I liked it so much and because it was something that I was a fan of and it was passionate. And I think even when there were certain little things that maybe were a little harder, it took a little bit of sacrifice on my end, like I would stay up until 3 or 4 in the morning working with people who were in la, and then I would go to school at 6 in the morning, so I would get 2 hours 3 hours of sleep. And my parents were, they were supportive, but at the same time they didn't really understand what I was doing,
Right.
so they were a little like, like, what are you doing? And I think, none of my friends at school, like the people that I saw on a day-to-day basis, really understood what I was doing. They didn't really see it going anywhere, but I always knew in the back of my head, I was like, I understand that you don't get it, but I
Mhm.
think this is the future. Like, I think, in the future people are going to be doing this for a job, and this is going to open up doors for me. And I knew that the people that I was talking with and that I was connecting with were going to help in some way. And even just being able to say, like, I did this, even if I changed my mind and I said, well, you know what, I'm gonna go into, I don't know, I'm gonna be a lawyer or I'm gonna be a doctor, like, I knew that being able to say I did that was going to be rewarding in the future. So that's what I went with. But I never really knew that I was getting into digital marketing. I just knew that I was doing something cool with film and that it would somehow help build my resume. So it was definitely a cool experience.
Yeah. I'm sure it was. I mean, it'd be a cool experience now as we have now matured into adulthood. I can imagine how much cooler it would be. You're
Mhm.
not out of high school yet. I totally understand that.
Mhm.
All right, so just help me out here. Obviously, you're well versed in English. You grew up in of course, in a place where you spoke in Spanish.
Mhm.
Did you do this with one language, or did you do it with two?
No, it was just English. It was English, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, back then it was probably not as good as it is today. I still obviously have an accent, but I think back then, look, I was looking back at some old, the things that I would do, like tweets and stuff, and I was like, oh my goodness, the grammar was awful. But I had people working with me who were Americans, so
Mhm.
they would be able to catch those typos and kind of come in and edit. So it was good. I think they never really knew, like the people that I was working with for the studio. I don't think they ever knew that I was not in the U.S. So it was kind of like they just assumed, I guess, that I was from there, and which is, it was always in English. I think the
Right.
bigger community was in English, and even across, when it's something that's worldwide like that, even if the fans do not speak English
Hmm.
from in their original countries, like everybody's trying to communicate in English because we all kind of understand that English is the universal language in that way. So
Right.
even if you have fans from other parts of Europe or South America or Asia, wherever it is, they all tend to still try and communicate in English. So we had fans from all over the world that, we're part of it, and we interacted with, and so it was really cool.